This is a video response to a gentleman who sent me an email and asked me if I could help him to figure a few things out that he's going through. He's been through an awful lot in his life, and I just want to say that his warm spirit, the peace that I can tell that he feels inside, and his loving personality, it really comes through on the email. So I want to say that he's been through an awful lot in life. I'm going to respond as best that I can. I hope that my response is helpful to him and anyone else who might be listening. The email is a bit lengthy, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, and I don't want to give up his identity, so I'm just going to kind of jump around the email and respond as best I can. So he says, I've been set up from an early age, maybe birth. I've watched one after another turn against me. Being alone is something I've enjoyed. It's peaceful and I can work on things. But was wondering if you have any advice in seeing through people trying to set you up or ways to protect yourself and grow more healthy relationships. So let's just start with that. He said he's been set up from an early age and possibly all the way back to birth, and that people have turned on him one after another. So I want you to know that you're not alone in anything that you're going through. People turning against you is a real common thing in the targeted individual community. We have experienced quite a bit of betrayal. One minute the people are your friends and they're your family members, and then the next thing you know, they're acting strange, and you can tell that they have more than likely been contacted by someone who has turned them against you. And all of a sudden, it will seem that they're in on your targeting. You have to accept that, and as hard as that sounds, you have to accept that. Some people choose to explain or try to explain that they're a good person, and they kind of try to beg for information, try to get the person to tell them who has contacted them, and try to convince them that whatever they've been told is a lie, and they try to explain the program. And that approach works for some people, I believe. But for the most part, whatever lie or smear campaign these people tell our friends and loved ones, it seems to stick. I've heard different things on what they tell them, but I have no way of confirming it. But I have heard things like they tell our friends and relatives that we're under investigation, and that if they help us, they would be accused of treason, which is a crime against your country. And who wants to be accused of treason? They say if they help the targeted person, that they will go to jail for treason. So that's a very serious crime. So that if that is true, as I said, I have no way of confirming it. But if that is true, that they are telling the target's friends and loved ones that, then no wonder the people stay away, because who wants to go to jail for treason? So again, I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever they tell them, it seems to stick. Okay. So the only thing I can suggest there is to accept what is, and try to form other friendships with people who may not turn on you, because there are some targets that will tell you that their friends and loved ones have not turned on them. So if people don't want to deal with you, then there's nothing you can really do about that. And when you think about it, do you really want to deal with people who don't want to deal with you, or people who would possibly set you up? That's not a position that you want to put yourself in. So it's for each individual person to decide, but it's better to err on the side of safety than to find yourself in these unhealthy relationships where you can possibly be set up, or the people just don't mean you any good. That's my best suggestion for that. Um, Also, when it comes to judging who may be a good fit for you to be involved with, just assuming like you may meet someone new or something like that, you wanted to know if I had any advice in seeing through people trying to set you up or ways to protect yourself and to grow more healthy relationships. I think there are 3 attributes that would be very helpful. One is intuition, one is discernment, and it was intuition, discernment, and wisdom. I think those are 3 very important attributes to have. Intuition is an inner knowing. You may meet someone and just have like a strange feeling, a negative strange feeling, and you may not know why you feel that way. Or you may already know someone that you may have perhaps known for years, and all of a sudden something starts to feel a little off, a little strange, something way down on the inside, and you don't quite know why. Well, that could be your intuition. It's just kind of an inner knowing, something that you just know is not right. You may not even know why you feel the way you feel. You may never be able to explain the feeling. You may never figure it out, but you just know you feel what you feel, and something's just a little off all of a sudden, or you just met the person and it's just off from the beginning. That could be your intuition, that inner knowing that something's not right. That feeling should not be ignored. The other thing that I mentioned was discernment, and that helps you just decide what's right and what's wrong, who's right and who's wrong for you, who you should be dealing with and who you shouldn't. Just a discerning spirit, something that you can just pick up. It really ties into intuition, but it's a little different, but pretty much it's very closely related. You just kind of know right from wrong, like this is not right for me, or this is not a good situation, or I shouldn't go there, or I shouldn't say that. That's discernment. Should not be ignored. And then wisdom. Wisdom is extremely important. And the Bible tells us if we lack wisdom to ask God, and he would give it to us liberally. He'll give us a lot of wisdom. That's what that liberally means. And wisdom is extremely important to have. Wisdom can come from life experiences, which you, sir, have had a lot of life experiences. So our negative experiences and our good experiences, they help us to have wisdom. Wisdom can come from talking to wise people. A lot of older people tend to be wise, and it's just because they've lived longer and they've had a lot of life experiences, and those experiences have turned into wisdom for them. So we can gain wisdom in different ways. Wisdom is just understanding things, just understanding how life works, understanding how things in this world work is really very important. Very important. For an example, in love relationships, it is wise to think with your head and not your heart. Many people will let their heart overrule their head, especially when we're targeted. It's really important to make sure that our head is ruling in all situations, not only in love situations, but even in friendships, as you mentioned in your email. Just kind of knowing when to have a healthy relationship. You have to make sure your head is overruling your heart at all times, because your heart is more emotional and it's going to want to want to rule off of feelings, because this community, this targeted individual community, is for the most part starved of affection and starved of friendships. So when people show us attention, we tend to gravitate towards them because we miss those days when we were having fun with people. Or if we never had those days, we yearn for those experiences, to be around people, to have laughter, to go places, to go to concerts, to go to a movie, to go to a party, to go out to drinks, to be invited here and to be included there. And so that's natural. That's very natural for people to desire those things. But in this community, in this particular targeted community, a lot of perpetrators are sent towards us. And so we have to make sure that we're not going off of emotion, but that we're using our head and not necessarily our heart or our feelings, because our head will think more logical. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but you have to make sure that your head is overruling your heart in all times, or overruling your emotions. Okay? Because our emotions want to be involved with people. But that's where that wisdom comes in. That's where that intuition comes in. That's where that discernment comes in. So that's the best advice I can give you there. Just ask God. Ask God to increase all those things for you. The intuition, the discernment, and the wisdom. And you'll be okay. And make sure that your head is overruling your heart at all times, and that you're thinking very logical. And also, I do want to add that we have to make sure in this community that we're not paranoid, because paranoia will make you think that every single person is involved in your targeting, but they're not. They're absolutely not. And I know it feels that way because of so many betrayals that we all have experienced. Even people that we trusted with everything within us, we trusted people, relatives and friends that we thought would never turn their backs on us, that we thought would understand when we told them what's happening with us, that they would really believe us and be in our corner. And some of them even said they believed us, but then they turned their backs on us. So we deal with a lot of betrayal. So it's easy to become paranoid. So you have to make sure that you're not paranoid when you're considering who really is your friend and who's not. Okay, so just make sure you can rule the paranoia factor out of it. Okay. And then you said, I've made some great friends along my journey, and I love protecting and loving others. I can't describe the beauty and wonder of realizing the entire world wasn't monsters, and people, not just animals, can love. Okay, I think what you meant by that is that animals are very loving, but it took you a while to realize that people can be just as loving as animals. Animals are very loving, and I would like to suggest that people consider getting a pet, because we do deal with a lot of loneliness, and pets can be excellent companions. They really can. I'm more of a small dog person, and I actually have a small dog, and I tell you, they have unconditional love. So if you live in a place where you can have a pet and you're not afraid of pets, consider getting one if you don't already have one. And that goes for anybody listening, because they make wonderful companions. Okay. But as you said, that it took you a while to realize that people can be loving as well. And goes back to what I said just a few minutes ago. Not everyone's involved. There are some very loving people in the world, very loving. They just seem to be more far and few in between when we become targeted. But these people who are targeting us, they want us to think that everybody is monsters. They want us to think that there is no love in this world and there will never be any love geared towards us. Well, it's not true. There is love in the world. And as you said, you still have love. Okay, there's other people that still have love. So we just have to somehow figure out who those other people who are still loving and connect with those people. They are out there. There are many TIs who are true targeted individuals, and they're not pretending to be targeted individuals just to prey on the community. And they are loving people. So try to connect with other TIs. Okay, there are some true ones out there. You said, I can't describe the beauty and wonder of realizing the entire world wasn't monsters and people, not just animals, can love. I've had those friends turn against me through bribery and what I presume is coercion or lies. Okay, so we pretty much talked about that. I didn't realize it then, but have been targeted since childhood. And many people will tell you that they have been targeted since childhood. Some didn't realize it at first when they first discovered their targeting, but came to realize later that the more they think about it, the further it goes back. So there are people who perhaps their parents were targeted and they were born into targeting that way, because I can't imagine any other reason why a child would be targeted unless they were the product of targeted parents, or at least one of their parents may have been targeted. Now, as cruel as these people are, they probably would just select a child at random and target them. I don't know. But I would think that most children who are targeted because they are the child of a target. Not sure, but that would be my guess. You said that you have been given methamphetamine pills under the age of 10. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. And I know what you're saying is true. I'm saying that's unbelievable in the sense that I cannot fathom how someone could be so cruel to give a child under the age of 10 methamphetamine pills. That is, I think you may have been MK Ultra, but I'm not sure. You didn't say that, but I've heard stories like this with people who were MK Ultra victims. They did some unimaginable things to those children. And this is just as cruel as it comes, to give a child methamphetamines. And you said that in your email that you had learned to hide the pills and that you would just save the pills somewhere and you would not take them, but they found your pills. And I believe you said that you ended up having to take them all, and that you ended up having to take even higher doses, and that caused you to go into early puberty, and then you got teased because of that. Just those people were sick, and these were your adopted parents who did all of this to you. So I just can't imagine why someone would go out of their way to adopt a child to treat them this way, to torture them. You said these people really, really tortured you. Evil. They're just evil. You said that there was a time when you had a cast on and they would, quote unquote, accidentally kick you or bump your cast. Cruel. These people were just cruel and crazy. And then that they would smirk about it. They would smirk when you would show pain because they hit your cast and they kick you, and then you would naturally scream out in pain, that they'd laugh about it. These people were. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that this happened to you. I really am. And you're still positive. That's just beautiful. These people. And then you went on to say that you would sit at Christmas and you would watch other people open gifts for hours, but you wouldn't have any gifts, and you just watch them. But you would still try to be part of the quote unquote day. These people, they should be locked up. They really should. They should be locked up somewhere. You made a comment that you had just began to realize, at some point in your life, you had began to realize that you were surrounded by pure evil. And what I wanted to say about that is that at that point that you realized that this world was pure evil, that was more than likely the beginning of your spiritual awakening or your spiritual journey. And at this point, this could be a turnaround point for you, because now you can do your research, and you probably have already, because you sound very smart. You can do your research and you can learn more about how this world really works. Because as you said, this world is pure evil. But you are one of the people that is the light in all of this darkness. So continue to be that light. The more that we learn, the more we grow. We grow spiritually. We grow mentally. And once we're spiritually awakened and we begin to see the world for what it is, we can make more informed decisions. And at that point, we can begin to increase our integrity and learn to take a stand. Just learn to take a stand. That's so important, to take a stand for ourselves and to stand up to these monsters who's doing these kind of things to all of us. Not only politically do we learn to take a stand for ourselves, but we also just learn to take our power back. That is how you take your power back. You just start to stand up for yourself and you learn to assert yourself, and you just decide what you're going to stand for and how much you're going to take, and begin to separate yourself from these people. It almost sounded like, you didn't say in your email, but it almost sounded like you still live with them or you're still connected with them somehow. I would strongly suggest, because these people are pure evil, that you try to separate yourself as much as you possibly can. You made the comment that you've learned to show your human side, and that's beautiful. In the midst of all of this evil that's surrounding you, and you can still show your human side, that is a beautiful thing. So keep doing that. Keep operating in love. Keep being positive. Keep reading the people. You mentioned that you read Gandhi and that you've read, you studied up on John Lennon and some other people. Keep filling your head with positivity. Keep reading those people. And I'm not for Gandhi. I'm not saying that at all. But whatever is helping you through this, but just know that Jesus Christ is Lord. So make sure you read your Bible. Make sure you pray, meditate, do all those things that are going to keep you in a positive place. Okay. And if Gandhi works for you, I know what you mean by that. I just hope that you do know that Christianity is the best way, and then that's for me. And but what I'm saying is, I have actually read some quotes from Gandhi that I thought were positive. So take it for what it's worth. But if Gandhi is what helped you through, just keep getting through. That's what I'm trying to say. Keep getting through this, because I can't imagine going through this evil. You even mentioned that at one point they forced you to wear shoes several sizes smaller than the shoe size that you wear, and that your feet were just in agony, and then you couldn't tell anybody, or you would have had to suffer consequences. This is cruel. This is cruelty. I don't know why you were never removed from these people's home when you were small. But again, I'm really sorry that you even had to go through this. You said that you recently purchased a fifth wheel and truck, and I'm not sure what a fifth wheel is, and truck. But you said that you're very excited of thinking about being in nature, and possibly you're hoping to find humans to love and defend from the darkness. Nature has extraordinary healing effect. I'm glad you like being out in nature. Continue to be out in nature. Do as much earthing or grounding, some people call it, as you possibly can. There's a very healing effect. Nature also brings out your creativity, and it's good to be out in nature. So continue down that path of nature. You said that you'd like to have a conversation that's not designed to attempt to frustrate or annoy you. These people are constantly trying to provoke the target and constantly trying to trigger you. So at least you are aware of that, so you can avoid that and learn to just ignore them. You said that you got strength from your journey and the what if I try mentality. That's really good, and that's a really good mindset to have, because that what if I try mentality says to me that you're a solution oriented person. And being solution oriented is one of the best things we can do for ourselves, because I believe that for every problem there is a solution. And for you constantly looking for solutions mean that if you are still in this situation that you described in this email, you won't be in it for much longer, because you are constantly searching for solutions. And the solution is out there. Number one, try your best to break free from these people or any negative people in your life. You don't need them. You don't need them. And just, let's see, there was something else you said. You said John Lennon said he was adopted, and since he didn't have family, he made the world his. I love that. I love that. Make the world yours, and be determined to live life on your own terms, and not on the terms of those evil people who raised you, and not on anyone else's terms, but on your own terms. You also said that you're determined to be the hero that you prayed for. And that's beautiful, because your story and everything you went through can definitely help someone else. You never know how many other children, and I'm sure there are more, who are going through similar things that you went through that you can help. Maybe you want to join a big brother, big sister organization or something like that, where you can mentor a child and help someone through some difficulties. Maybe you want to, and I don't know your age group, but maybe you want to become a therapist. We need great therapists who will not target other people. Maybe you can give back in that way. You said, I met so many people that were so different, they cared. They didn't enjoy making pain. They wanted to help each other. I just read that and realized how controlled my interactions were with the world. I started thinking of those online as humans. Many targets will tell you that it feels like your whole existence is controlled, but you have to be determined to break that control and not give in to the mind control, and not allow people to control your actions, but to do as you please and as you feel is best for your life. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, if you're an adult, and I don't know your age group, you don't need anybody to control you. You can control yourself. Okay? You said, I realized there's something really important here. I realized I wasn't the one with the problem. That the psychological attacks were meant to trigger anger, to manufacture a situation that they could point at and say, see, you're angry for no reason. And that's what they do. They try to create situations where they can try to gaslight you and tell you that you're the problem. But as you said, and I'm glad that you realized this, that you're not the problem. They are. They are. So your thinking is very clear. Your head is very clear. With everything that you went through, they didn't break you. You're still here. So if it doesn't break you, it'll make you stronger. And I thank you for your email. I hope I said something that helped you. Just continue to be strong. Continue each and every day to take your power back. If you are still interacting with those people, pray on it. Consider breaking all ties with them, because they are clearly evil people. Clearly evil people. For them to go out of their way to adopt you, to treat you that way, they're not good people at all. As far as the friends in your life, as I said, take a good hard look at the situation. Make sure that you're not being a paranoid person, that you're not thinking that everybody is automatically involved in your targeting. If there's anyone that you suspect may be, just keep a watchful eye on it. Put them to your own little tests, which is what I do. And you can only determine how you can do that. Try to increase your intuition, your discernment, and your wisdom. Ask God to help you with those things. Read your word every day. Pray to God every day. And continue to be strong and give back. Give back. Stand up for yourself. Find someone that you can mentor, because you've gone through a lot, and you're a beautiful person. It comes through in your email. So everything that you have gone through, I'm sure will help someone else. Okay? And I hope this helps. God bless you and stay strong.